This is the Variety Show 2024. I wanted to do a video about what's happening in the Sunshine State of Florida and the devastation from Hurricane Helene and now another one, Hurricane Milton, these storms, and just probably billions of dollars of devastation. I don't think anyone expected this hurricane season to be this active in 2024. And I think what we're seeing is a new era in Florida's history that they're going to join the state of California and start losing population. People are not going to be moving there, building houses there, but for a different reason than why you have what they're calling the California exodus, including celebrities like Mark Wahlberg and different famous people that have left California, and even Joe Rogan and Elon Musk and famous people that used to live in California and all live in California. I mean, Florida, I think for a while, for the past few years, Florida was the new California. And people were going to Florida. The same way in the 1980s and 1990s, I remember when people all wanted to move to California in the 80s and 90s. And then sometime in the 2000s, that turned into Florida. And now it's going to turn to someplace else, not California, not Florida. What's the next state that's going to be replacing them? Maybe Texas, maybe Tennessee, maybe Utah, someplace else that offers warm weather and nice scenery and so forth. But this devastation from these storms is definitely going to stop the Florida being the number one fastest growing state. So it's definitely a new era, just billions of dollars worth of damage from these incredible storms that we're seeing in Florida. And Florida is no longer the heaven on earth, the fountain of youth that they made out to be. And there is no perfect heaven on earth. There is no perfect place. And it's not California. We found that out. It's not Florida. And California should be continuing like in the 80s and 90s in the heyday of people going to California. They still have over 40 million people. But the exception of San Diego, most of the state is losing population over the past few years because of the bad politics, because of Newsom and property taxes and income taxes and smog and pollution, crime, homeless people everywhere. All kinds of problems in California, wildfires, which they blame on climate change, and just earthquake threats, but not so much more wildfires than earthquakes. But California is incredible. It's an incredible place. It should continue to be the number one growing state. And the fact that it isn't is really mind-boggling. Somewhere that offers that much, that California is offering in the way of the beaches, the ocean, the desert, the mountains, every kind of climate you can think of, every national park, everything you'd ever want, short of heaven itself, is on the West Coast. It should be. It's incredible that it's gone down so far from what it was in the 80s and 90s. And now Florida's going to join them, but for a different reason. The politics are better in Florida. DeSantis is there, but these storms, because of nature, it's going to join California. There's going to now be a Florida exodus, I'm afraid. But I could be wrong. So you can leave me comments on this. This is the Variety Show 2024.